Hello everybody on YouTube. What is up? This is Jake, Ninja Platypus from the Penguin Soldiers. It has been freaking forever since we made a video. Have not quit Yu-Gi-Oh! Mostly not as much into it as I was after the regional and everything with everybody on the team. Haven't been as competitive. I did do pretty well at that, but just haven't been into it as much. Been busy lately, and I know it's a terrible excuse, but never had the motivation to make a video. Definitely back though. It's been a great summer. I've been doing pretty well at locals, and I'm here with some more innovative deck ideas, and you know, getting back into making videos. So here I have a profile for you all. This is Gallis Agents. You might remember this from the September 2012 format. Was a very popular deck choice. I believe topped quite a few events. And so I here have a profile of the deck, and basically it's just what I've been running. It's Monster Mash Agents, and it does involve Gallis Birdman engine as the core. And recently, very recently, 2 days ago, I added TGs and found out that although Striker's limited, it is a very good throwback choice and worked extremely well in the deck. So to start, I'm running the basic agent engine setup, you know, obvious choice. So 2 Earth searches out the Venus. Venus is the core of the deck. You definitely use it for the Shine Ball plays. Feels Hyperion. It's a light fairy. Everything that this deck needs. It's very good. Synergy, because again, these are all very good monsters that help swarm and search up fast. And this being Monster Mash, this is a 39 monster deck. So this deck emphasizes on fast killing, and it can stand its own. I have not won matches. I have won games against Dragon Rulers. The toughest, on Dueling Network I have won matches. The toughest matchup for this deck is probably Prophecy at the moment. Evil Swarm, I have outs in the extra deck, such as I have Dark Mist here, Zen Mines, and my side deck does help a lot with Evil Swarm. I have beaten Evil Swarm in matches with this deck, and also in single games, and so it isn't as good at the moment, but before Lord of the Tachyon Galaxy, this deck was actually quite good. The core of this deck for the quick summon plays is Gallis Birdman, and I'm going to include the TG engine here because it just works so very well with these cards. The synergy of so many special summons per turn. Gallis Burn helps get the kills in. It's just amazing. So for TGs, because Striker is limited and Kami's dumb, I'm running 1 Striker, 2 Warwolf. First turn it's not bad. Sometimes it's set a Warwolf or special it when they go off, and then you get the Destroy, you get a Striker Search, and then you can play it like that. But most of the time you just kind of have this for just because very good for Synchro and Exceed. Also good here. There's quite a few OTKs that I've either made up or seen, or just kind of, you know, figured out. One big one that I did invent, in fact, and this is for the synergy here. Look up the cards to read the effects. You'll understand how amazing this is, especially with Venus. Like, this into Venus equals a Stardust Dragon that can attack twice by Dagusto Phoenix, or it equals a Mistworm. These 2 in a Venus equals an OTK as long as you mill 1600 damage, and you get a +1. It's insane and huge swarm. I am running 1 Crane. That works very well with Gallis. If you go Crane, Special Gallis, if you have these 2 in hand right here, Crane, Birdman, and you go Crane, Special Gallis, return, get the burn, instant 2-card Mistworm with proper setup. So amazing. Running 1 Witch of the Black Rose, very good first turn. Also helps make Black Rose Dragon with Gallis, Striker, etc. It's just good for the extra draw, and I am only running 1 spell, so that helps. Maxing out on Herald of Orange Light, no Veiler in here. With that, for advantage hand traps, I do run 2 Maxi. Very good this format. I do not like Veiler as much, especially in this deck. This can hit any effect, not just on the field. It can hit on either player's turn. It negates and destroys, and the cost really isn't a cost when you look at this deck's capabilities in recovery and graveyard setup. Running 1 Chaos Sorcerer and 1 super sexy nameless BLS. Yep. Very good considering the amount of darks. These are almost never dead. Obviously, which I forgot to mention, I am running the obligatory 3 Hyperion. Works very well with the agents. I've tributed 2 for this. I mean, it comes out a lot. You want 3 to max out on boss potential. With that being said about bosses, I'm running through Christia. It's too easy to control the number of fairies engraved. Just too easy. And even then, it's just herald fodder if it's dead. It's too good. You'll never clog with that card unless you have a bad hand with, like, no fairies. Like Venus, tutors 3 shine balls, that's instantly 4 fairies. Running Treg and Gores for protection. These are important in this format. Treg is really good, especially with all the different levels floating around, and this deck is that versatile. It has that many levels in it that Trigodia can take a lot of things or make amazing Synchro and Exceed plays. And with Max Seed, these couple, they stop the insane OTKs that you see sometimes. Running an Honest because of all the lights. Running Card Troopers, this is an interesting choice, but it helps the mills and setups. For Cephalon, if you don't know his effect, he's 4,000, 4,000. The only way you can summon him is special if you have 10 or more monsters engraved. Once per turn, you can summon a level 8 or higher fairy from your hand or graveyard, so like a Hyperion or a Christia. Its effect is negated and its attack becomes 4,000. So this card is an instant 8,000. I had an instance at locals where I used Card Trooper enough, but I didn't have a high enough fairy engraved, but I had game because I just threw 2 of these down and just poked with both, and if you're crazy, you can pack Gustav if you want. And then lastly, 1 spell, Monster Reborn. I'm trying to keep the spell count low for Witch and Gallis, and I decided to pick a spell, like, I've missed too often with Gallis with 2 or 3 spells. I'm trying to pick the 1 spell that fits the theme of the deck the most, and I think this helps me get the kill in the fastest, because this is an OTK deck, and it can easily kill turn 2 or 3. Onto the extra deck. We got 1 Gotchi. This will change with Judgment of the Light. But we have 1 Gotchi, 1 Dark Mist, 1 Phoenix. And this is obviously different than the Trooper Agent that you saw back in December for me. We got 1 Leviair, 1 Leviathan, 1 Zen Mines. We got 1 Armory Arm, Catastor, Librarian, Gaia Knight, Black Rose, Stardust, and Scrap. And that is it for Synchros, well, mostly. We have him, it's way too good, especially with Trigodia. I've nuked entire fields, it's amazing. And a Mistworm, which is very, very easy to make in this deck. And so that is the extra. And just the strategy of the deck, it doesn't compete well with the meta, but our locals especially is not super competitive. And so something like this, if you side correctly and you don't see a ton of back row, I mean, even through back row I've OTK'd, like, this deck bounces back fast and has enough offensive potential where it can get through. And so, at our locals, this usually goes in a 4-round typical Sunday or Thursday tournament. This goes 3-1 almost every time. I end up losing to Dragon Rule or something big last round. It can't beat the metagame. In a future format, it's good. In a casual setting, it's an amazing deck. It's very fun and innovative. I ask you to try it sometime. The side deck, spells that I feel like, this used to be in the main until very recently. It could go back in for something else. This you don't usually main because you don't have trouble clearing monsters, but it's there. I sided in a lot. This is just extra protection. That can change. And this is because it works extremely well with Cephalon, as you see. It sets up monsters in the graveyard. And you side in this with 3 Rykos. Very good for Evil Swarms. That's the #1 thing against Evil Swarms is you get the Rykos, you get the mills, you get to go through your deck for Rykos, you get graveyard setup. It's amazing. And other monsters I'm siding, Thunder King, very important card. Works well with the theme of the deck as long as you don't search while you have it up. It's very good. 2 Lava Golems, very good to tribute their guys. Not a tough card for me to play over. I can definitely get rid of it even the turn I summon it. It's just a good out to their guys. It could be, Penguin Soldier or something else. Just good out to things that have prevention from destruction. 2 Electric Virus, again for, I guess, E-Drags, Evil Swarms, Machine decks. I mean, again, this deck isn't super competitive, but the side generally helps with the matchups that it has the toughest time with. Even if it can't pull through in the end consistently against the meta, this side deck really covers the deck's weak spots. Finally, 2 Royal Decree. If you don't hit this with Gallis, it's not bad to just set it and play it. You could take on MST for a 3rd one of these. It is really, really, really good against the decks that this has a bad matchup against, Gildra and everything else. Because They will take out their spell and trap removal game 2, and you will put these in, and they will not be able to get rid of it, and it's game. I rarely lose when I flip Decree. So, there you have it. Probably more videos on the OTKs and playstyle of this deck, but this is what I've been playing locals at most recently. I have my Bubble Beat. I have not touched that in quite a few weeks, just because I so much more like the just the fast OTK playstyle of this deck, and I'm just a huge Agent fan. I have been since the release, and so, yeah. Anyway, in a future format, I believe this deck, calling it right now, or a MASH variant, or again maybe an Agent variant, something along those lines will be very good if the format gets slowed down. So I'm holding on to this stuff, and even if not, it's great in a casual local setting. And so let me guys know what you think. That is our new March 2013 format, playing Gallis, TG, Agents, I guess, Monster Mash. So like, comment, sub, everything else. Thank you very much.